funny, Sean. I don't know. Or maybe my need to be funny. Oh, you guys, welcome to Monday, uh, President's Day, PD Day, and also my favorite Teacher of the Year announcement. It's fun seeing a small group in this space. By the way, this just opened back up, special for you guys. No, I'm teasing. It's been under construction and a little bit of mitigation. So it's fun being in this gorgeous room full of our brightest and best educators that went through a pretty strenuous process this year to get here. So we're super excited that you're here, that your family's here to enjoy it. And I am not going to keep the mic long. We're going to turn it over to Mr. Beard, who will do the presentation.
So just like she said, it's a long and arduous process, and it's kind of tedious. So I'm going to tell you all about that right now because we've got you captive, and just talk a little bit about this. The Teacher of the Year process, this used to be a part of our Professional Development Committee, but about 6 years ago, I split that out and made the Teacher of the Year committee a separate committee because it does take a lot of work on top of what we were already doing with professional development. So those are two separate committees now. And each year, the Teacher of the Year committee is comprised of one site member, along with an administrator, a community member, and a board member. And so if you're here and you're a member of the Professional Development Committee, can you raise your hand? And we have them littered all over the place. If you've ever been on the Professional Development Committee, can you raise your hand? Got a couple, okay. It is a 3-year stint, and it is one of those committees that everybody says, I just love serving on this committee, and they wish they could do it longer, but it doesn't always work that way. Teacher of the Year committee, what did I just say? Oh, that's on YouTube now. Okay, so we're also streaming this today, so if somebody's missing this and they wanted to watch that, they can go to our Sandite Learning channel on YouTube and watch the Teacher of the Year announcement. Thank you, Kristen. So besides this group of people, I'm going to talk about what they do to come to the determination of who's Teacher of the Year in just a second. But there's other things that go on behind the scenes, so I'm going to recognize Jamie Wilson from my office. She put together everything that you see going on here today, so Jamie at the back. And then Lisa Chittister, she's the one that goes through the process of taking headshots of all the people and also checking my editing skills when it comes to this slideshow. And then Jessica Sprague, where are you? She's in here. She engraves a lot of our trophies for this event and for the support staff of the year. So all of the trophies for the most part, with the exception of one or two. So that's a lot of work, and that's a big ask, and we really appreciate the work that they do. So the Teacher of the Year committee has the responsibility of going through the site nominations, but at the site level, the people that you see here today, they were nominated and selected by the teachers in their building, and then they were submitted to a process that from there we would select 5 site finalists or 5 district finalists, and then ultimately a Teacher of the Year. Through that process, there's certain criteria that they have to meet. All nominees are required to have at least 3 years of experience as a teacher in Sand Springs Public Schools. Nominees must be planning to teach for Sand Springs Public Schools the following year. And then in addition to that, and this is what gets a lot of people, they have to submit an introduction video of at least 90 seconds and a short biography outlining their career. They have to have letters of reference from community and students and parents and administrators. They also have to list a profile of their community and personal achievements, and then they have to write a written response to a prompt provided by the Teacher of the Year selection committee. And I think this year that prompt was how do you benefit the profession? Who filled that out? Raise your hand, tell me what it said. What was that prompt? The top 5 people should know it. They had to go through it. All right. But it's basically like writing a 1-page essay, and you were like, I didn't have to do that. I haven't had to do that since I was in 10th grade. Why do I have to do it now? The finalists, once we go through all of those things that are submitted, the committee selects 5 people to be presented as our District 5. And then those District 5 have to participate in a 30-minute interview. And they also get a site visit from me where I come around and I video them working in their classroom. I come back with that video, and prior to interviewing them, I show that video to the committee because the committee, because it's comprised of people from across the district, they rarely get to see what some of these people do. So the video gives them the ability to see them working with kids and how they teach and how they interact and what their classroom looks like, and it's kind of nice. When I visit them, I leave, as I'm leaving, I say, so do you have any questions about the interview? No, I'm good. One person did say, can I have the questions ahead of time? I said, no, you can't. And I said, but there will be 10 questions. And then I got there last week for the interviews, and the committee said, there's only 5 questions. And so that took the edge off for most of them when they walked in. I said, do you remember I said 10 questions? There's actually only 5. And they're like, okay, that's a little bit better. And then we have one special question that we add to that 5. And so, as a for instance, if you taught at Limestone, then Brian Thompson was on the committee this year from Limestone, and he came up with a special question because ultimately, when you're sitting in that chair, even though you get to tell a little bit about yourself and then you answer the questions, you always forget to say certain things about yourself. And so those committee members draw that out by saying, tell us a little bit more about whatever. And so that adds a little bit to that interview process. From there, the committee goes through a vote where they rank each respondent's answers to the questions in the interview, and then we tally that up, and then Jamie checks my math, and then we come up with a District 5. So we're going to go through all of that in just a second, but what we want to do first is Ms. Durkee can come back up here, and if Kristen can come up here, we're going to recognize our site winners. And so as I call your name, if you can come up, we're going to give you your certificate for being selected as site winner. And if you can please stay up here, we're going to take a picture once we get all of you up here. So we have a couple of people that couldn't be here today, or at least one that couldn't be here today. So we're going to stick the principal in there as a placeholder. Oh, she said, no, you're not. Okay, never mind. All right. Okay, so our first winner for Page Academy's Jenna Purcell. For the 6th grade center, Shawnee Leakty. From Pratt Elementary, Christy Blaylock, who could not be here today, but we'll give her a round of applause. For Northwoods Fine Arts Academy, Lisa Sander. From Limestone Technology Academy, Hadley Toll. From Garfield STEAM Academy, Jenny Valines. From the Early Childhood Education Center, Janelle Jones. From Charles Page High School, Faith Liston. From the Charles Page Freshman Academy, Brittany Pride. From Clyde Boyd Middle School, Amy Boatwright. And from Angus Valley Elementary, Laura McGehee. So like I said, from that group, our committee had the difficult task of paring down those candidates to our top 5. And so as we go through this, this next step, I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these 5 finalists, and then we're going to watch a little bit of their video that they submitted and a little bit of their class visit. So they didn't know this part. They're probably thinking, if I had known that, I probably wouldn't have put that in my video, but that's okay. So, and we're going to start with, I think, if I can pause this. Oh, no, we got it. We're going to start with Amy Boatwright. Amy, if you'll come on up. And this is the hard part. As we call you up, you have to stay up here until we get through all 5 candidates. We're going to leave that, yeah. So Amy Boatwright comes from Clyde Boyd Middle School. That's fine, yeah. Stand right in front of your plaque, yes. So Amy Boatwright comes from Clyde Boyd Middle School, and in addition to being a science teacher at Clyde Boyd, she holds a lot of other duties. She's not only the department head for the science department at Clyde Boyd, she's also our PLC lead for the science team across 6 through 12, and she has taken on the role of tennis coach. So she wears several hats, as do a lot of these candidates, and so we're going to watch a little bit about Amy Boatwright in action.
We are explorers, innovators, and engineers. We believe we are all scientists. Hello, my name is Amy Boatwright, and I teach 7th grade science at Clyde Boyd Middle School. I have taught for 16 years. The past 8 have been at Clyde Boyd. When I am not in the classroom, you can catch me hanging out with my husband, Isaac, our 16-year-old daughter, Maddie, and our 3 cats. We enjoy taking road trips and centering our vacations around interactive art museums, history, and of course, food. We also enjoy baking and trying new desserts and sharing those with family, friends, and neighbors. After school, you can catch me playing tennis and teaching our middle school players, hopefully, a love for the game. While I enjoy all those things mentioned previously, my greatest passion is sharing my love of science with my students. My students are explorers, innovators, engineers, scientists, and more. I want them to know when they come in my classroom that they're always welcomed and that science is meant to be explored and questioned. And it's okay if we don't find the answers right away, that we can keep on searching. Thank you for your consideration for this year's District Teacher of the Year for Sand Springs. Thank you.
I have to say this because it was so funny to me. Have you ever seen those ASMR videos on YouTube where, you know, the sounds? The one little boy that was in the turquoise blue, they were doing an activity with yeast and sugar, and as he poured the yeast into the cup, he goes, "That's so satisfying." He's an ASMR kid. Okay, so our next top 5 finalist is Janelle Jones from the Early Childhood Education Center. And nobody calls her Janelle at ECEC. She is Miss Joe. And in addition to having the task of teaching 4-year-olds, she also has the equally daunting task of being a special ed teacher at the Early Childhood Center. And so she pulls it off with finesse, and she has a team that helps her that does such a wonderful job. And so I think you're going to see that in her video.
Hi, my name is Jonelle Jones, and I am the special education teacher at the ECEC. I've been with the district since 2020. I have been a certified teacher for 10 years. I started at Enid Public Schools as a 1st through 3rd grade self-contained teacher before moving to Blackwell Public Schools, where I was a resource teacher for 3rd through 5th grade. And then I taught at Epic Charter Schools for a couple of years before landing in Sand Springs. A master's degree in education from Arizona State with an emphasis in applied behavior analysis. And most recently, I received certification in leadership. So I'm really looking forward to utilizing that certificate in the future. Outside of school, I am married to my husband, Andrew, and we have a son, Oliver, who's 6, and he attends Northwoods. I have 3 siblings. And I volunteer my time at my church, teaching Sunday school in our low sensory room that we recently built. And I also volunteer as a scout leader for the Scouts Lions Den for our current kindergarteners that are at Sand Springs.
Ms. Joe. Okay, our next candidate from Charles Page High School is Faith Liston. Faith is an English language arts teacher at the high school. She's also taught AP. In addition to that, she's been an academic team coach. She's worked with NHS, and she may have probably blocked this out due to PTSD, but she was actually a virtual school tutor for me back in the day when I was the virtual academy director, which, if there was anything that was going to drive you to quit teaching, it might have been that, but she stuck it out, so she's still here with us. So we're going to check out Faith's video, and I wasn't sure about the AP class that we visited that day, what they thought about me standing there. Every time we walk into a classroom with a phone and you're doing this while the teacher's teaching, kids look at you like, why is this person here? But they held their composure pretty well. So here's Faith's video.
Hi, my name's Faith Liston, and I teach English at Charles Page High School. This is my 17th year in the classroom. I'm also a wife and proud mom of 2 little Sandites, ages 6 and 9. I wanted to be a teacher because growing up, my home was unsafe and unstable, and my teachers were my heroes. They looked out for me, they cared about me, and they encouraged me. And what a gift it has been to be a part of the profession I have admired so long. In the classroom, my educational philosophy is that all of our students, especially those from challenging backgrounds, benefit from high expectations and strong academic rigor. There is a sense of accomplishment and self-esteem that can only be earned on the other side of hard work. Whatever these students choose to do in life, I know that their future begins today, in my classroom, right now, and what a joy it is to be a part of that journey. Thank you for the chance to talk about how public schools have impacted my life.
Faith Liston. Okay, our 4th candidate is Brittany Pride from the Charles Page Freshman Academy. And in addition to being a lifelong Sandite, she married a lifelong Sandite, and she's also an ELA teacher at the high school. But in addition to that, she also is the yearbook sponsor, and she's going to probably fault me for this, but when I edited your video, I had to cut it way down because she had a lot of testimony from former students, which was really nice to see, but I did have to kind of pare it down for this event. So just don't tell those people, and if they're watching right now, I'm sorry I had to cut you out. But Here we go.
Hi, my name is Brittany Pride, and for the last 12 years, Sand Springs has been more than where I teach. It's been home.
Now, whether it is writing an essay or framing a photo, I teach students to slow down, notice the details, and tell the story.
Mrs. Pride is the type of teacher who instills a love for the subject she teaches in her students. I don't think I've ever had a class stick with me quite as much as Miss Pride's has.
Every new novel is a chance for students to see the world through someone else's eyes, and I get to guide them along the way.
She's the type of teacher that helps you discover your passions and pursue them.
Sometimes learning looks like building, problem solving, and figuring things out together.
To sitting in these desks and now standing in front of them, I teach to give back what was given to me.
The room may be quiet now, but it's full of stories.
She's just one of those teachers that you remember for a lifetime.
Brittany Pride. And our fifth and final nominee from Limestone Technology Academy is Hadley Toll. Hadley has, this is one of the unique Teachers of the Year that we have, because in addition to classroom teachers, we also recognize librarians and special resource teachers. And in the past several years, we've been able to recognize several of those people in those roles. And Hadley has the distinct opportunity to work with every child in the building at Limestone. But in addition to that, what she often failed to tell us during her interview that we drew out of her is that she does so much more to help out the staff in her building. She goes above and beyond, and she reaches out to help others when they would least expect her to. So this is Hadley's video.
Hi, my name is Hadley Toll, and I'm the librarian at Limestone Technology Academy. I love it there. I've been married to my husband for 34 years. His name is Greg. We have 2 adult children. Spencer is 30. He does media tech stuff for a church in Tulsa. And Bridget is 27, and she is a missionary in Japan. My husband is a pastor, and so I have worked in several school districts. Actually, Sand Springs is my 7th school district, but I've worked across Oklahoma and different towns and had that opportunity. I also, because of that, I believe I've got a lot of flexibility and patience, and I've made a lot of friendships along the way. I was a classroom teacher in kindergarten for 10 years total, and a classroom teacher in pre-K for 2 years. And then this is my 13th year in the library, and it just feels like home and where I'm supposed to be and where I belong. And I just love it. And that's pretty much me. Thank you.
Hadley Toll. So, in addition to the immense, the tense feeling that you have from standing up here this long, I just want to point out one more thing before we get to the end. We have to accept a phone call first, but you turn. Behind you, I want to point out that not only do we have some gifts for the 5 finalists, but we also have some gifts for all of our site winners. And then before we take the photo, I want to do a Q&A session with these ladies if we can. We're going to ask them. No, I'm kidding. Let's just do the photo. Okay, so for this part of the ceremony, I'm going to hand this back over to Miss Durkee and give her the distinct privilege of announcing our District Teacher of the Year.
It's because he doesn't want to cry. I'm not joking about that. You guys, you're looking at just an amazing representation, maybe a cross-section of all the things that we do. And I know I'm speaking to a room of educators and family that really get the work, but I'm just looking at 5 people that literally pour their heart and soul out to the kids of Sand Springs. From elementary, early childhood to high school. Freshman has to be kind of one of the trickiest ones, Clyde Boyd Middle School. But I do believe it's a calling. It's something that we don't take lightly. And it's something that makes such an incredible difference for kids, whether you know it or not. And I could tell a few stories of my own about how I've gotten caught off guard later on in life, where a previous student that I don't even remember comes and says something to me because they remember. And that's what you do with kids. So the cool part about this year's, it's all cool, but most of you don't know, but we had a speaker this morning that talked about pouring out and giving back. It was a pretty brilliant story about facing obstacles and making choices. And so I'm really proud to kind of mirror a little bit of that story with our District Teacher of the Year this year, because part of her story is about finding courage, overcoming obstacles, and really caring about kids that have a need most of all. And then pouring your heart and soul out into their lives. And so really proud to announce our District Teacher of the Year is Miss Faith Liston. We're going to get a photo with your... So I know there's stuff, Sean. We're going to get one photo before family comes up and wants to do that too. So what in the world is going on over here? Yes. Oh, and the other big announcement, Faith, I don't know if they shared, but we get to take you to Oklahoma City on Wednesday, and there will be recognition on the House of Representatives floor and the Senate floor. So I'm really proud to be able to present. Our football team's going to share that too, but it's so much more fun to represent the Teacher of the Year. So give her another hand. This is kind of a big, you hold it because I'm struggling with yours, you know. Perfect. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Perfect. And then we have all sorts of donated prizes and such that you'll have a fun time looking through later on. And then, Mr. Beard.
Give a speech. Speech? Do you want to say a few words, or do you want to?
Okay, I thought you guys were kidding about that.
We save some surprises.
Okay. Well, I'll reiterate what I said at my school site when I was chosen as Site Teacher of the Year, because I really mean it. I had a college professor who poured into us, right, and really, really encouraged us to go out there and be leaders. He said, you're empowered, you're ready, you're going to go out there and you're going to change lives and you're going to lead departments and you're ready to do that. And then when I came to Charles Page High School, I thought, that's not totally true. Because look at all these awesome people who work here. And I really meant it when I said it to them, and I'll say it to all of you again. I think all I have ever tried to do is keep pace with the wonderful people that work in all levels of this district. Because really, you are the makers of those seemingly small, maybe invisible, unacknowledged until later in life moments that change lives for good. So it's an honor of a lifetime. Thank you.
So that wraps up our ceremony. Thank you guys for all coming out today. We have refreshments at your table, so please feel free to take those with you if you haven't already partaken. Site winners, we do have some bags up here for you, and then the